Suns with a win over Toronto last night, getting ready for the Boston Celtics. Key matchup at Footprint Center. Our next guest has hit 16 three-pointers over his last two basketball games. 8 in a row, both times.
Filling it up, Vinny.
Filling it up. Grayson Allen of the Phoenix Suns joins us here on the Arizona Sports Line. Grayson, thanks so much for joining us today. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
I will start with this. I'll say something on behalf of the Suns fan base. Damn, dude. Have you ever been on a heater like this before?
I don't know about 16 in 2 games, and especially with them being all in a row, I think that's a new one for me.
The numbers, too, and it's not just the threes. I think that it's. I wouldn't say you've reinvented yourself as a basketball player, but you have certainly taken your status and your rep to the next level. How much of this was done in the offseason? Where are you at in your career from your vantage point?
I think a lot of it is growth and, getting better. It being my 6th season and figuring things out and hitting stride and developing my game more in the off season. And then a big part of it too is a slightly different role that I've had in the last three years really. And doing a little bit more out there on the court, or at least being asked to do a little bit more and kind of stepping up and taking advantage of it.
Grayson Allen of the Suns, our guest here on Bickley Marotta Mornings. In terms of the timing of this, and I heard you reference this after the Denver game too. You made reference to kind of a weird rough stretch for you where the shots weren't falling. It's always good to win games. It's always good when your shot's falling. But how much better does it make you feel that it came on the heels of one of your rare rough stretches this year, Grayson?
Yeah, it feels good. Shooters go through slumps and stretches and where you miss a few in a row. Sometimes it happens for a whole game, and so it's nice to quickly kick that. And it was only 2 or 3 games, and I always kind of have that mindset that I'm going to shoot a good percentage. So if I miss a lot in a row, at some point I'm going to make a lot in a row too.
Many in the basketball media look at the Suns and they see a couple of flaws, the lack of a traditional point guard. I know the leadership thing has been bounced around. Where do you think this team's at internally? How much growth have you seen recently, and how confident do you feel about this team moving forward?
I feel really good about where we're at. We have a ton of offensive firepower, and if you look at kind of 2 of our issues this season, it's really been closing out games in the fourth and turnovers. And I think the last 2 games, even though we didn't have a good offensive fourth quarter against Denver, I felt like our ball movement was great. We just didn't knock down shots, and defensively we were great in the last 2 games. So, we kind of have that emphasis and locked in on trying to finish games better and not slow down too much, keep our pace going, and continue to take care of the ball. And a lot of that, the turnovers come from those dead possessions where we, get the ball at the court slow and don't move that much. And, I don't think that's coming from a traditional point guard. I think that's just all 5 guys being in tune to what we're doing each possession and helping each other out. So I think we're going to get better with those 2 things. When we do, we'll be a lot better.
Talking with Grayson Allen of the Suns here on Arizona Sports. I want to go back to the beginning of your time with the Suns. It happened in a trade that went down right before the beginning of training camp. How difficult of a transition is that? When a trade, it's never easy to be traded or change teams, but when it happens so close to the beginning of training camp, was that a difficult challenge for you to overcome?
Yeah, that made it a little bit tougher. This was my 3rd time getting traded, and this was the closest to the season. And so coming in, I think I came in literally 1 day before training camp started. I had to get adjusted really quick because in your first preseason game is a week later. So I made it a little challenging, but I felt like maybe first 2 regular season games were a little rough for me, and then after that I kind of got in rhythm. And each week of the season feels like it's been getting better and better. So I think I quickly adjusted, but it definitely made it a little bit difficult there, especially in October.
Now, as a guy who's going to be an unrestricted free agent, you picked a great time to have a career year. Yesterday, Matt Ishbia, the owner of the Suns, said he really wants to keep you. He wants to keep Royce O'Neal. I know this is a bit into the future, but is this a place you'd like to be long term? How do you feel about being here with this team in this environment in this city?
I love Phoenix. I love the team we have here. We have a great group of guys. I feel like I've been embraced and loved by the fans here. So I have no complaints from being here. And all that stuff with free agency and re-signing is all in the future. And so I don't want to think about it too much and just focus on what we have at hand here. But I love everything about Phoenix.
Talking with Grayson Allen of the Suns here on Arizona Sports. Going back to the shooting, I say this all the time when we talk about shooters on this show, Grayson. There's nothing I enjoy more in sports than watching a shooter on a hot streak, and you've been on one of those hot streaks 2 games in a row. And, last night you felt it from the crowd. Every time you touched the ball at a certain point, there was just this buzz, this energy, and then you deliver again. What's going through your mind when that energy is coursing through the building like that? When you're ready to release, or are you just able to pull the Billy Chappell from For Love of the Game and clear the mechanism and just focus on what you're trying to do?
During those moments, there's actually not a whole lot going through my head, but you can kind of feel like it slows down a little bit. You're just really locked in. I mean, I could definitely feel the energy of the crowd. And when you kind of get in that little hot streak at home too, it's a lot more fun because you have the crowd getting louder and louder behind you each shot you make. But in the moment, not a whole lot of thoughts going through my head. It's just all focus, all feel, and all instinct.
And your shooting percentage and what you've done this year, it's beginning to and will continue to take pressure off guys like KD and Kevin Durant's already talked about that at what a benefit it is to not be swarmed all the time. Talk about your responsibility to knock these shots down just to kind of relieve the pressure that teams naturally want to put on Devin Booker and Kevin Durant.
Yeah, well, we have 3 really talented scorers and Book, KD, and Brad, and they score differently. Book a lot of times up top in ball screens, KD in the post, and Brad with a lot of movement in ball screens too. And defenses have to pick: are they going to let those guys play 1-on-1 or 2-on-2 and stay home, or are they going to help in and throw an extra defender? And last game against the Raptors, they doubled every KD post touch from the beginning of the game, like the whole first half, and we got a lot of threes because of it. And there's other games where they pull a third guy over in the pick and roll, and, that leaves the skip passes open to the corner where we can swing around and get open threes. So it forces teams to really pick their poison offensively, whether are they going to let these talented scorers like KD, Brad, Book, and just go and get their rhythm shots that they're so good at, or are they going to help off and give open threes to the other guys on the court?
Yeah. Before we let you go, I wanted to focus away from your offense, away from your shooting for a second. Focus on the defense. And I heard you talking, too, after the Denver game about the commitment you've made to improving on the defensive end of the floor. What led to that, and where do you think you are in that development right now on the defensive end, Grayson?
I think what led to it was just what I was asked to do from a role perspective. It kind of started in Memphis when I was playing and I started starting in my second year there, and I was asked to have some of the tougher defensive assignments and guard the primary ball handler on the other team. And then that started the focus on it. And then 2 years in Milwaukee with Drew Holiday, I felt like I learned a lot from watching him and being with him in practice and kind of learning some of the stuff he does when guarding the ball, and being an undersized guy and being able to guard guys in the post too. So learned a lot from him, and I feel like I've been improving each year. This year I feel like almost every game I've guarded the primary ball handler of the other team, and so it's just that effort of navigating screens and trying to keep those guys in front as much as possible. So that we don't have to get in help defense and rotation and make the night difficult for them.
Well, Grayson, thanks so much for spending a
No
few minutes
doubt.
with us this morning. It's been a heck of a lot of fun to watch this year, and especially
Stay
over
hot.
the last 2 games. Yes, good advice. Stay hot.
Stay hot, Grayson.
Good luck against Boston.
Thank you. I
Thank you,
appreciate
man.
it.
Thanks, Grayson Allen, Suns guard, joining us on the Arizona Sports Line. I want to repeat the stat that I threw out there earlier. Nobody, Dan Marley and Quentin Richardson in Suns history, have 2 games each of 8 or more three-pointers.
Wow.
Grayson Allen has been here for 50. He's played in 57 games as a Sun. He's done it 6 times.
Well,
it's just a matter of time before he reaches double digits.
And you talk about this team evolving. How about this? Bradley Beal has 62 drives in his last 3 games. That 20.7 drive per game average would place him second only to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander if it was extrapolated over the entire season. That's evolution.
That's good data, too.
Yeah, how about that?
Look at
Take
you.
that for data.
Thanks for watching Bickley and Marotta. Click to see the latest Bickley Blast and hit the button in the middle to subscribe to Arizona Sports.